A $9,000 credit card can be a better investment than the stock market. That sounds insane. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why that's true. And you'll never look at good debt and bad debt the same way again. You've heard the rule 100 times. Mortgage, good debt. Student loan, mostly fine. Credit card, bad. Car loan, watch out. Your parents taught you that rule. Your teachers repeated it. Every finance creator online says some version of it. It gets passed down like it's settled science. That rule sounds smart. It isn't. It sorts debt by what you bought. A house, a car, a degree. It never checks the one number that actually decides if a debt helps you or wrecks you. Here's the uncomfortable part. Millions of people follow that rule perfectly. They still end up poorer for it. Not because they're careless, because the rule itself is measuring the wrong thing. Today, I'm giving you the number that actually matters. You'll be able to run it on every loan you own tonight. And you'll understand why two people earning the exact same paycheck can end up in two completely different financial futures using the exact same tools. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. $1 borrowed for a house and $1 borrowed for a vacation work exactly the same way. Someone hands you money. You pay it back later. You pay extra for the privilege. That's the whole mechanism. No exceptions. So if the purchase doesn't decide good or bad, what does? One thing. Just one. The rate you're paying against the rate your money could earn somewhere else. That's the entire test, not the label on the loan. Not how responsible it feels. Just two numbers sitting side by side. If your debt costs less than what your money can earn elsewhere, keep the debt. Let your money go to work instead. If your debt costs more than what your money can earn elsewhere, kill the debt first. Every time, no exceptions. Notice what this does. It throws out the whole good debt, bad debt filing system. It replaces it with one comparison, two numbers. Nothing else matters. You don't need to know if a loan feels responsible. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need the rate and something to measure it against. Let me show you what that actually looks like. Two people, same paycheck, opposite outcomes. Marcus is 29. He works in sales. He hits his numbers most months and brings home solid, unremarkable pay. Nothing flashy. Marcus is also proud of how he handles money. He never misses a due date. He checks his balance every Sunday night, like a ritual. He'd tell you, with a straight face, that he's good with this stuff. He keeps a spreadsheet of his bills. He knows his rent to the dollar. He even brags to friends about never paying a late fee in his life. By most people's definition, Marcus looks like the responsible one in the room. Marcus carries $9,400 across two credit cards. He doesn't panic about it. He sends $260 a month, a little above the minimum, and calls it progress. Here's what Marcus has never actually calculated. His blended rate across both cards is 24.3%. On $9,400, that's $2,284 a year gone before a single dollar touches what he actually owes. At $260 a month, most of that payment is swallowed by interest before it even reaches the balance. Run the math, and it takes Marcus 81 months to clear that debt, 6 years and 9 months. By the time the balance hits zero, he's handed the bank $17,760 total to pay off $9,400. He didn't overspend his way into a crisis. He financed a slow, quiet leak that never once felt urgent enough to fix. That's the trap. Nobody panics over a payment that feels manageable, but manageable and cheap are two completely different things. Marcus confused the two, and it's costing him thousands of dollars he'll never see. Here's what makes it worse. Marcus isn't lazy about money. He reads the occasional finance article. He knows credit card debt is bad debt, in theory. But nobody ever told him to check the actual number behind that label. So the label sat there, unquestioned, while the real cost kept compounding underneath it. Dana makes the same money as Marcus. Different industry, nearly identical paycheck. Dana isn't a minimalist, and she doesn't live like one. She eats out, she travels, she buys nice things sometimes. The difference is smaller than you'd think, and it isn't about spending less. It's about one single habit she never breaks. Dana has one loan, a mortgage, fixed at 6.1%. Nothing else. No revolving balance. No financed furniture. No buy now, pay later stacking up in the background. If she can't pay for something in full that month, she waits. Whatever's left over after bills goes straight into an index fund. Same amount Marcus is sending his card company. Call it $260. At a 9% average return, $260 a month becomes roughly $50,000 in 10 years. Push it to 20 years, and it crosses $172,000. At 30 years, it's past $468,000. I want to be straight with you here. That 9% is a nominal, long-run average. It's not guaranteed, and it doesn't include inflation. In real inflation-adjusted terms, that 30-year number is closer to $260,000. Still enormous. Still built from $260 a month and one simple habit. Same starting paycheck as Marcus. Same monthly amount moving. Two completely different directions. Here's the part people miss. Dana isn't smarter than Marcus. She's not more disciplined either. Marcus pays every bill on time too. The only real difference between them is which side of one line they're standing on. Marcus's money is locked at 24.3%, working against him every single month. Dana's money is locked at 9%, working for her, while her only debt sits well below that, at 6.1%. Same tool, opposite result. The only thing that changed was the rate. Put them side by side, and the good debt, bad debt story completely falls apart. Marcus followed it. He avoided risky investments and focused on paying his bills. Dana didn't follow a bin. She followed a number. And the number is what built her future. So where's the cutoff? Where does a debt flip from keep it and invest to kill it now? You need a rough number for what your money can earn elsewhere. The safe version, a high-yield savings account or a treasury bill. Right now, that's roughly 4 to 5%, with almost no risk. The growth version, the stock market. Long-run average sits close to 9 to 10% a year. Not smooth, not guaranteed, but it's the honest long-term number. Put those together, and a practical line appears. Above roughly 8%, your debt is almost certainly costing you more than your money can reliably earn. Attack it first. Below roughly 6%, especially if it's fixed, you're usually better off keeping the debt and investing the difference instead. Between 6 and 8%, that's a genuine gray zone. Your answer depends on your taxes, your risk tolerance, and whether that rate can climb on you later. This isn't a rule carved in stone. It's a starting point. Your own number might shift a little depending on your job security, your other savings, and how much risk actually lets you sleep at night. But the shape of the line rarely changes. High rate, attack it. Low rate, invest past it. The exact cutoff is just where your comfort meets the math. Here's the detail that makes this line sharper than it first looks. Paying off high-rate debt isn't just a return. It's a guaranteed, tax-free return. Think about that for a second. When you invest and earn 9%, the government takes a slice of the gain. When you wipe out a 24% credit card balance, you keep the entire 24%. No tax touches it. You're not earning income. You're removing a cost that was bleeding you every month, silently. Go back to Marcus. If he pays off that card, he isn't just avoiding a bill. He's earning a guaranteed, tax-free 24.3% return on his own money. Show me one legal investment on Earth that reliably pays that, with zero risk. It doesn't exist. Marcus was holding the best investment opportunity of his life in his wallet. He just never learned to see it that way. This is exactly where the good debt, bad debt sorting fails Marcus the hardest. It tells him what it tells everyone. Credit card, bad. Pay it down eventually. It never once tells him that paying it down was the single highest return move available to him. Full stop. No exceptions. You've probably heard that wealthy people use debt strategically instead of paying cash for everything. There's truth in that. And it's the exact same rule, just running at scale. The idea is simple. Own things that grow in value. Stocks, real estate, a business. Don't sell them to get cash. Selling triggers taxes, and it kills your future growth on that money. Instead, borrow against the asset at a low rate, and let the asset keep compounding. Say someone owns $300,000 in stock and needs $40,000. Sell it, and depending on the gains, they might owe several $1,000s in tax. Plus, they lose all future growth on that chunk of money permanently. Or borrow the $40,000 against the portfolio at 7% and let the full $300,000 keep compounding at 9 or 10%. They pay 7. They earn closer to 9 or 10. They keep the spread. And the original investment never stops growing. Run the numbers, and the gap is small in year 1, maybe $1,000. But stretch it across a decade, and the compounding on the untouched $300,000 dwarfs the interest paid on the loan. Time is doing the heavy lifting here, not some clever trick. Financial writers call this pattern buy, borrow, die. Buy assets that grow. Borrow against them instead of selling. Never trigger the tax bill. It's the exact same line Dana is using on her mortgage, just with more zeros attached. And more risk, too. If the market drops hard, that kind of loan can get called at the worst possible moment. Lawmakers debate this pattern regularly because it lets large fortunes grow for decades with very little tax ever collected along the way. Whatever you think about the fairness of that, the mechanism itself isn't a secret or a loophole reserved for lawyers. It's the same rate comparison you just learned, running with bigger numbers attached. This isn't a beginner move, and I'm not telling you to try it tomorrow. I'm showing you the math because it proves the point. The wealthy didn't get handed a secret tool. They just learned which direction to point the one you already have. There's no hidden vault of financial tricks reserved for people with more zeros in their accounts. There's just one rule applied consistently at whatever scale you happen to be operating at. Marcus and a billionaire are running the same equation, only the size of the numbers changes. Here's what to actually do with this, and it takes about 10 minutes. Write down every debt you have: credit cards, car loan, student loans, mortgage, anything with a balance. Next to each one, write the real interest rate, not what you think it is, the actual number, off your last statement. Now line them all up against the rule. A credit card at 22 to 26%, way above the line. Highest priority. Attack it first before anything else. A personal loan around 11 to 12%, also above the line. Next in the queue, a car loan near 8 to 9%, above the line, though the gap is smaller. Worth tackling once the higher rate debt is gone. Student loans around 5 to 7%. This is your gray zone. Keep paying on schedule. No need to rush if you're investing alongside it. A fixed mortgage around 6%. Also gray zone, usually leaning toward keep it and invest, especially if the rate is locked and can't move on you. Work from the top down. The moment a debt drops below the line, stop attacking it. Start investing instead. This is the whole system. No bins, no labels, no guessing which category a loan belongs to. Just a ranked list, ordered by rate, worked from the top. It takes the same amount of effort as the old good debt, bad debt method. It just points that effort somewhere useful. One thing beats everything on this list. If your job offers a retirement match, grab that first. A 50% match is a 50% instant, guaranteed return. Nothing on your debt list beats that, not even the credit card. The same logic runs on your cash too. A typical big bank savings account pays around 0.4% right now. Move that same money into a high-yield account paying 4 to 5%, and you're earning 10 times more for identical safety. Same money, same risk. Completely different rate. The only difference is whether you actually checked. Most people never make that move, not because it's hard, but because it's boring. It takes 15 minutes online. There's no drama, no risk, no excitement. It's just free money sitting there, waiting for someone to bother collecting it. Marcus and Dana earn the same paycheck. Dana starts investing immediately. Marcus spends nearly 7 years just digging out of a hole before he can even begin. That head start, simply standing on the right side of the line sooner, is worth well over $170,000 between them, looking 30 years out. Not because Dana earns more at work, not because she's more disciplined, just because she pointed the same lever in the right direction sooner. That's the real cost of the good debt, bad debt story. It's not just an oversimplification, it's expensive. It tells you to feel fine about a manageable-looking payment without ever showing you the number that actually decides your future. Think about how quiet that cost is. Nobody sends Marcus a letter telling him he's losing over $170,000 in future wealth. There's no alarm, no red flag, no wake-up call. The damage just accumulates in the background, one manageable payment at a time, until the gap between him and Dana becomes almost impossible to close. Debt isn't good. Debt isn't bad. It's neutral. It's a rate, sitting next to an alternative. That comparison takes 5 minutes to run, and it can be the difference between decades of catching up and decades of compounding in your favor. You don't need more income to fix this. You don't need to be a genius. You need the number. Now you have it. Pull up your statements tonight. Run every debt against the line. Find out, in real dollars, which side you're actually standing on. Write your rates in the comments if you want a second opinion. I read everyone, and I'll tell you straight, without sugarcoating it, which side of the line you're standing on. If this changed how you'll read your next statement, hit like and subscribe for the next one. See you there.